and just share my tips on what a successful essay looks like. And so without wasting more time, I'll start with the leadership essay. And this is at the cornerstone of you winning. If you write the other essays well, but your leadership essay doesn't come out clearly, again, you are not going to get the scholarship. This is like the backbone. This is the first door you open before anybody can consider you for the scholarship. So as a first instance, you need to provide an instance where you've collaborated or worked independently to attain a positive outcome. And you need to ensure that your personal role is very evident. This is the I we are talking about, not the we. So you need to say, I did this and achieved this. Don't say we did. If you say we did, we don't know how much percentage you contributed to that. You need to demonstrate that you led what you are talking of. You own it. The second thing you need to do, you need to give 1 or 2 specific examples. So don't go on listing so many examples. Pick 1 or 2 specific examples, plug them into the STAR approach, describe them in detail, and then you move on. You don't have to use more than that. Yeah, because 1 example is usually enough. Or if you go further, you can do 2. Because you need to have a situation whereby you had a problem, and then you had the task, and what action as a leader did you implement, and what result did you take? And these will form the basis of your essay. And before I forget, I'll mention that in the requirements, Chevening says you need to write a minimum of 100 words and a maximum of 500 words. People ask, oh, so how many words should I write? Ask yourself, if somebody is paying for you fees equivalent to 4.5 million Kenyan shillings, would you want to write 100 words to convince them or 500 words? So you need to be very close to the word count as possible. 498, 499, 490, 480. Fit your stories as in those many words. Don't write short essays because you'll not be able to demonstrate all the examples you want or all the evidence you want to give. So highlight how you've influenced the thoughts and deeds of those around you. You know, as a leader, you're not working alone. You are working with a team. You need to show how you've convinced. And I'll give an example. In one of the essays I've come across, it was during the COVID times, one of the applicants said, you know, before COVID, we are not used to these online presentations, online meetings and everything. And so one of the applicants gave an example whereby they were working in an organization and they wanted to hold a meeting and they wanted to do it online, and the management didn't want that at that time. And so they put out a memo, not a memo, but they put out a request highlighting the advantages of having an online meeting at that time. And they presented it as an example of their leadership. So you need to show how you convinced others, how you influenced others, how you imparted your thought process on them, rather than just narrating leadership experiences or defining what leadership is. Because when you go to the definition, everybody can plug it in Google or in ChatGPT or in Bard or wherever and just get the definition out in a second. So they're not interested in that. They're interested in you showing your leadership skills. So another thing is that simply holding a position does not prove leadership. And as Kenyans, you'll agree, and Nigerians on the call also, you'll agree that this is very common in the countries we come from, that holding a certain position does not show that you are a true leader. Yeah. So you need to show that clearly in your essay. And it just goes beyond you listing that I had this responsibility. And so this one is well covered if you use the STAR approach. So the other thing you need to show is how are your achievements sustained? What have they done? And the best way to demonstrate this is by using numbers. You can put in an example that because of my intervention as a leader, I had this certain number of patients, I had 1,000 patients benefiting from my intervention. Drop the figures, don't be afraid to drop the numbers and show evidence of what you've done. A friend of mine who got the scholarship in, I think, 2020, used to publish used to publish articles in Nation, it's called the Nation newspaper. And one of the things he highlighted is that he wrote with it, like he had a cholera outbreak in Tana River at that time. And one of the things I highlighted is that he put all this information in the newspaper, which caught the attention of the minister, you know. So you need to show exactly what you did. Just don't talk that I had this responsibility and this. You need to demonstrate that in your essay. So lastly, avoid using quotes and definition of leadership. The only thing you might do, maybe as a starter for your essay, you might say what leadership actually means to you. For example, you can say that leadership to me means resilience, blah, blah, blah. But then you need to demonstrate that in your essay. Why are you resilient as a leader? So avoid defining leadership and putting in quotes by Martin Luther King or whoever inspires you, but instead focus on your own experiences, as I had initially mentioned. So the next thing we are going to talk about is the networking bit. And this one, you need to, again, clearly highlight how your networks have helped you and how you've gained from your networks and how they have gained from you also, if possible. So you need to show how you build and maintain networks. So an example that Chevening doesn't want you to use is don't just say, I'm friends, or I've joined LinkedIn and I'm friends with this person, or we are connected with this person. That's not enough. Demonstrate how you build these networks. Yeah. Either by, for example, you can have a hobby that brings you together with people, and through that you build a network with those people. And you keep on sharing or engaging that hobby. But when you get an issue you want to solve, now you reach out to that network and talk about. Chevening prefers that you give networking experience that is more focused towards your work experience rather than your school setting. And so you need to put that in mind. The other thing is you need to elaborate how you've maintained these connections and how they've assisted you in accomplishing the goals. And the easiest way to achieve this, again, is to use the STAR approach. Create a situation, have a situation as a leader or as a networker that you had, and give yourself a task of solving that situation. Demonstrate the action you did, and this action now will link back to your networks, and say that now I reached out to this network of mine at this point of need, and clearly highlight what the network did for you. Yeah, don't just I reached out to them and and they helped me. Highlight what they did. As an example, in the healthcare setting, you might have maybe want to get supplies, or you run like an NGO, or you are supporting maybe access to maybe basic needs or sanitary products for girls, or whichever your field is in. Say the number they've given you, okay? Like I reached out to network A and B and C, and they provided 1,000 chairs for the students in this school to sit on. Obviously, don't lie, but yeah, don't lie because they'll catch you in the lie. But that I'm just giving you an example of what to include into the essay. Also, consider deeply how you can plan to leverage the Chevening network. this one has to appear in your essay. And again, I just pulled this straight from the Chevening website. It has to appear on how you are going to leverage the Chevening network. Drop the number of Chevening scholars that have currently benefited. So we are standing at over 55,000 currently. So, and these are huge network. You can always drop, like when you're part of the network, you can always reach out and say, I have this problem. Who is in this country who can assist me solve this issue? You can collaborate with people and such. The other thing you need to think about is how your work will benefit the Chevening alumni network. What will you contribute? You should not just be on the receiving end. You also need to give out. And an example I give is most of you, I presume and believe, you use YouTube. And one thing you've realized with YouTube is that however much people make some money on it, there are some people who go there and give very genuine and well thought out tutorials. You as a networker, what are you going to give out to the alumni, to the society and everything? And most importantly, highlight the results you've achieved through your networking approach. Again, the STAR approach. The things you should not do, you should not discuss networking skills without referencing specific networks. Don't just drop that, oh, I have these skills, blah, blah, blah. Show us how those skills, how you've used that skills in your journey so far. Don't forget to link your answer back to Chevening here. And say that given, one of the sentences that everybody uses is that given this chance to given this chance to pursue my degree, I'll collaborate with this. You can mention your classmates, blah, blah, your professors, and the people you'll meet along the journey as you go along. Yeah. So the next essay focuses on studying in the UK. And you already, for those who are applying, you already, I presume you already signed up. You already seen how the question reads. I won't read the question now. But basically, they want you to show why do you want to study in the UK? Of all the countries in the world, why the UK? Sorry. So the best or the winning essays, they discuss all the 3 courses they have chosen in their universities. And these courses are clearly, they are clearly explained. Sorry. And how they relate to your past experiences and future plans. So for example, when you choose, I'll still use my example for health economics, for example. I'll say my first choice is the University of Sheffield and highlight the reasons why is the University of Sheffield. And these reasons should not just be directly copied from the website. They will entail a thorough research of not only the university, but also the courses I'm going to study. And so this will cover the modules that are entailed in that course, will cover the professors who teach that course, and will also link to the publications from that university or from the professors who teach that course. So for example, you might say that I'll study a module, for example, in statistical, like for example, further statistics for health economics. And how will this help you? And link it back to what you will do. You'll go back to your home country and develop a program that will look at this and this. The other thing you need to highlight, what has your professors done? Look at the professors who teach these courses. Some of the universities, some of you will be lucky to join the UK, have professors who've informed policies across the world. So you need to mention that Professor A or B, in his publication in 2020 or in 2010, shaped the delivery of service A, B, C, D in middle or in low-income countries. And this has been adopted by the WHO to develop programs here, here, and here. That's how you frame your essay. Like, show that you've done your research and you just didn't go to the website and read the top thing that was on the page and read through. For example, those going to like the top schools like Cambridge or Oxford, mention their impact on the UK economy. How much billions of pounds do they pump into the economy through their research? So, for example, the University of Sheffield belongs to what we call the Russell Group of universities. Look at that and say, how much do they pump into the economy of the United Kingdom every year? It shows that you've researched well what you are going to, why you are going to study at that university. So focus on the content of the courses. I think I've already talked about this. What makes the course at this university unique? Why is it that I want to study this course? Pick out the modules. What does the module cover? Put it in your sentence. And for each course, you need to mention that for each university. So University A, advantages B, C, D. Same with B, same with the third university. The things that Chevening says is don't merely copy from university websites and refrain using rankings as the sole reason for choosing a course. And one important thing you can look at is that you can check it's good to check the rankings of the universities so that you choose at least a university that you are confident in it, but let it not be the backbone of your studying in the UK essay. You can still mention it in your essay that this university is ranked either the Times Higher rankings or either whichever rankings you want to use, but it should not be the backbone of your essay. The other thing you need to mention is sorry for a minute. Don't merely cite local attractions or cuisines, or for the lovers of football that you are choosing to study at a certain university because it'll be closer to your team or something like that. That will not earn you any more marks. Yeah, Chevening is not interested in the football club you support. They're just interested in the courses and how it will benefit you. The other thing you need to, when you're choosing the courses, the other thing you need to remember, in my advice to the different talks I've given in the past, always link these to the priorities of the UK government in Kenya. And there are different places you can get these resources. You can get them from the British Council website. You can still get them from the former DFID website, the Department for International Development. It's no longer there. So you check out the FCDO website and check the programs the government is, the UK government is actually running in Kenya. Look at which type of NGOs the UK government works with, which type of government programs the UK government supports. For those of you who will be doing security studies, it will be prudent to mention the UK's investment in security in Kenya. How does it relate to your course? For those doing health, look at the priorities of the UK's priorities in healthcare. What are they looking at? And one of the things you need to look at the UN's goals, for example, in Kenya, combine those with the UK's priorities, then tie them to your courses. Demonstrate how these courses will actually help you when you go back. And before I finish there, look at the gap in skill set in Kenya, okay? And how you're going to plug that gap by gaining this master's degree. So in my case, I saw there was a gap in sort of modeling healthcare programs within the country itself. And so you say that you want to project, for example, you have this budget, or you want to project it in the next 10 or 20 years, and advise the government according that if you invest this money at this point, then the return of investment in a couple of years will be this and this. So we need to have those skills and demonstrate that if I apply for this course and gain this knowledge, I'll be able to plug the gap when I go back home. So to cut that story short, these are just some of the key points, but there are more, and you can read on them on their websites and in the blogs. Okay, so again, I see time is moving very fast, so I'll move also very fast. So the career plan is the last essay that you write, and in this essay, you need to demarcate your essays to highlight the 3 different stages in your career after you finish your master's program. You need to highlight what you are going to do in the short term, what you are going to do in the mid-term, and what you are going to do in the long term. Your goals should be realistic and also achievable. And Chevening in itself that also says, don't fear saying that you also want to be the president of Kenya or the head of the WHO or the head of whichever organization, because if it's part of your career plan, then you can highlight and defend it. So ensure your essay follows this format. It has short, mid, and long-term plans, and is clearly outlined for each stage what you plan to do once you go back. You can link this to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals and highlight how you can achieve that in the long or short-term career plans. You also ensure that your career plans are both bold and attainable. As I told you, Chevening is a very prestigious scholarship. Don't be afraid to say what you want to be in the next few years, and defend it and provide the assessors with a clear strategy of realizing it. And also express genuine passion for creating enduring positive impact in your home countries with, again, coherent strategies to realize it. Like when you go back, if you're an engineer, for example, what do you want? You want to build, like, for example, maybe a railway track from Nairobi to wherever, and show how you will achieve this here. Show that your skills, whatever, how you'll achieve this. Demonstrate it. And that will earn you a lot of marks. What you should avoid is you should not focus that you are just studying these masters so that it's just a stepping stone to your PhD. You can have a sentence mentioning that you might study a PhD in the future, but again, it should not be the backbone of why you want to study, why you want Chevening to fund your studies in the UK. The last thing is that you should not forget to highlight the importance of the Chevening network in supporting your career goals. You know, having people spread out across different countries and different industries. You are always an email away from somebody who can prop you up in your career and uplift you, give you networks, give you gigs that you can work on together and everything. And so that brings me to an end to just the essays. I have a last slide that will talk about the common errors that students make. And so I'll just rush through because I've gotten a warning that my time is running out. The good thing I'm at the end. Yeah, so these are the common errors that you should avoid. Ensure you fill the form correctly, and I can't reinstate this. Again, it's so important that one of the mistakes I made in one of my applications that I filled in the worked hours wrongly, and it calculated that I had only worked for 20 hours in the entire duration of my lifetime, which was not correct. Yeah. And also, you need to declare your answering statements incorrectly about employment status, like have it graduated clearly what you've done as part of your career. Word count, I've already mentioned it. Don't write below 100 words. Don't write above 500 words. Don't repeat answers in essay questions or copy the question and start answering. No. The essays are run through the plagiarism software. So check it out. Don't plagiarize. Don't copy people's essays. And also use the English language as an extra. So as I read there, thank you for your time. And I believe and I hope that you've gained something from this talk. So I'll hand you back to the host, and thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Paul. Thank you, and everyone that has listened to that, I believe you can pick that Paul is really passionate about this, and that is part of the reason I invited him to just come and talk to us